The silence was the loudest thing, a cavernous, aching silence that had swallowed Lily's world whole these past few days. It smelled faintly of dust and forgotten toys, a constant reminder of the vibrant chaos that had once filled her small apartment. Buster, her best boy, gone. He'd been hit by a car, a terrible, unforeseen moment that had stolen him away in an instant, leaving only the crushing weight of grief in its wake. Lily hadn't stopped crying for 2 days, and even now, on the third evening, the tears still pricked at the corners of her eyes, ready to spill at the slightest memory of his wet nose nudging her hand, his happy yaps, the rhythmic thud of his tail against the floorboards. She was curled on the sofa, a blanket pulled tight, staring blankly at the TV, which played only the muted hum of static in her mind. The apartment was dark, save for the faint glow from the screen. Then she heard it, a soft, insistent scratching at the front door. Her breath hitched. For a ridiculous, hopeful moment, her heart leaped. It couldn't be. No, it was probably just the wind or a branch against the wood. She tried to tell herself that, but the sound came again, clearer this time. 3 distinct scratches, then a pause, then 2 more. The rhythm was eerily familiar. It was Buster's impatient scratch when he wanted back inside after a quick run in the yard. Lily slowly unwound herself from the blanket, her muscles protesting. Every fiber of her being screamed at her not to go, that it was a trick of her grieving mind, a cruel phantom. Yet, a desperate, illogical hope tugged her forward. She walked to the door, her bare feet silent on the cold wood floor, and hesitated. Her hand trembled as she reached for the doorknob, her knuckles white. Taking a deep, shaky breath, she pulled it open. There he was, Buster. He stood on the welcome mat, a dark silhouette against the dim porch light. His fur, a familiar mix of golden and white, seemed to shimmer. He looked exactly as he always had. A wave of overwhelming, almost suffocating relief washed over Lily. "Buster," she whispered, her voice cracking with disbelief and a joy so profound it was painful. He took a step inside, his tail giving a tentative, almost mechanical wag. Lily knelt instantly, tears finally overflowing, a sob catching in her throat. She reached out, pulling him into a tight embrace, burying her face in his warm fur. It smelled like him, like sunshine and earth and home. She felt the solid weight of him against her, the familiar comfort of his presence. But as she pulled back, still weeping, still disbelieving, something registered. Something subtle, yet profoundly unsettling. His eyes. They were fixed on her, bright and clear, but unblinking. Not once did they flicker or move away. They were just watching, an unnerving stillness behind them. "Buster, oh Buster, you're back," she murmured, wiping her eyes. She expected a happy bark, a lick to her face, the usual flurry of affection. But there was nothing. He simply stood there, his tail giving another single slow wag, his gaze unwavering. Days turned into a week, and Lily's initial overwhelming joy began to curdle into a quiet dread. Buster was back, yes, but he wasn't truly Buster. He followed her everywhere, a silent, furry shadow. He would sit by her feet when she cooked, lie on the rug when she read, even stand by her bedside at night. Always, always watching. He never barked, not once. No excited yips at the mailman, no warning growls at the squirrels in the yard. He didn't even make the soft, contented sighs she remembered. He was completely, unnervingly silent. When she offered him food, he would eat it, but without the usual eager enthusiasm, just a methodical consumption. He didn't blink, not when she spoke to him, not when she waved a hand in front of his face, not even when he walked into a sunbeam. His eyes remained wide, fixed, the irises a startlingly clear shade of amber, reflecting the light without truly seeing, or so it felt. And he never slept. Lily would wake in the dead of night, jolted awake by some unseen shift in the air, and she would find him there, at the foot of her bed, or sometimes even closer, by her pillow, his unblinking eyes fixed on her face in the darkness. The moon would cast his silhouette across the floor, and his eyes would seem to glow faintly, an eerie, relentless vigil. She tried closing her own eyes, pulling the covers over her head, but she could still feel his gaze, a prickling sensation on her skin. She tried to rationalize it. Maybe he was traumatized by the accident. But trauma didn't make a dog's eyes stop blinking. Trauma didn't steal their bark or their sleep. This wasn't trauma. This was something else, something fundamentally wrong. One evening, as she sat on the floor, trying to coax a playful nudge from him, she looked deeply into his unwavering eyes. There was no warmth, no recognition, no spark of the vibrant, loving soul she had known. Only an empty, infinite depth, a silent, patient observation. She pulled her hand back as if burned. The silence that had once represented absence now felt like an active, oppressive presence. He was there, a physical comfort, a familiar shape, but the spirit of Buster was gone, replaced by a shell, animated by something unknowable, something that watched him with eyes that never closed. Lily found herself whispering to him in the quiet hours, not the loving reassurances she used to offer, but desperate pleas. What are you? What do you want? The questions hung in the air, unanswered, absorbed by the chilling silence of the unblinking gaze. She couldn't send him away. He was Buster. He looked like him, felt like him, but she couldn't truly welcome him either, not the way he was now. So she lived with him, her constant, unblinking companion, a chilling reminder of what had been lost and what had returned, fundamentally, terrifyingly altered. The silence still filled her apartment, but now it was a silence punctuated not by absence, but by a ceaseless, unnerving watch. And sometimes, in the darkest part of the night, when she felt that cold, unblinking gaze upon her, Lily wondered if the accident had truly taken Buster, or if it had merely swapped him for something else, something that had worn his fur and his shape, and had come back specifically to watch her, always watching. This story serves as a gentle reminder that sometimes the things we long for most, when returned to us, might carry a shadow of their own. It invites us to ponder the nature of grief, love, and what we might truly be willing to accept in our deepest sorrow. Have you ever experienced something that seemed familiar but felt profoundly wrong in a way you couldn't explain? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. And if you found this story compelling, please consider following for more tales that delve into the quiet corners of our imaginations.